This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material. Good day everyone, I am Rensmart Marfa, and I am presenting the dominant and recessive genes or allele. There are two different versions of a gene, called alleles. Alleles are described as either dominant or recessive. So what is dominant? Dominant is also known as heterozygous. It refers to a relationship between two different versions of a gene. Dominant gene or a dominant version of a gene is a particular variant of a gene which, for a variety of reasons, expresses itself more strongly all by itself than any other version of a gene. Dominant show their effect even if the individual only has one copy of the allele. For example, the allele for brown eyes is dominant. Therefore, you only need one copy of brown eye allele to have brown eyes. Even if two copies of brown eye or one copy, you will still have brown eyes because, as what I said earlier, that dominant allele is expressed itself more strongly. For you to identify more the dominant gene or allele, I will give you an example, such as blood type A, curly hair, brown eyes, dark hair, dimples, broad lips, and many more. So if you have those physical traits that I mentioned, then that is a dominant gene. And now, we will proceed to recessive allele. Recessive, on the other hand, is also known as homozygous. It is also a type of allele which is not more likely expressed or seen. It will only be expressed in the phenotype if the two copies of it are present. For example, your mother has a straight hair and your father has a straight hair also. Therefore, this is where the recessive expressed or seen. But if only one is present, then it will not be expressed because, as what I said earlier, that recessive allele not produce a trait at all when only one copy is present. And example for recessive genes are light hair, straight hair, thin lips, no dimples, light eyes, and etc. It's not so hard to identify the dominant and recessive. Dominant is expressed more and recessive is not. Dominant is heterozygous and recessive is homozygous. I hope you just learned.
Physical growth development is the physical growth from the birth to adulthood and development of the growth of control of the body. Physical growth development means the progress of the child's control over his body. This includes control over the muscles and physical coordination abilities. In my own understanding, physical growth development is a step-by-step of growing a child. They learn finger movement, walk, and speak. It can change the circulatory and respiratory system, increase the strength and the stamina, and also involve the growth and change in the person's body and bodily functions, and also involves the both physiological and motor development.
Maturation. Maturation refers to the process of growth and development that occurs naturally over the time in living organisms. This process is guided by genetic, environmental, and other factors and typically leads to an increase in physical, cognitive, emotional, and social capabilities. In humans, maturation starts at conception, and continues throughout the lifespan, although different aspects of development are emphasized as different stages of life. For example, during efficiency and childhood, physically maturation and development of basic motor skills are primary, while in adolescence and young adulthood, cognitive and social maturation become more important. Maturation can be influenced various factors such as genetics, environment, nutrition, and experiences. for extent malnutrition, illness, or exposure to toxins during critical periods of development by disrupt or delay and maturation process, resulting in developmental delays or other adverse outcomes. Maturation is also closely related to a concept of aging, as both processes involve changes in our body and mind over time. However, aging is typically associated with the decline in function that occurs later in life, while maturation is generally considered a positive process that leads to increased competence and adaptability.
I will discuss the environmental factors affecting the physical self. A number of specific environmental issues can impede human health and wellness. These issues include chemical pollution, climate change, disease causing in microbes, lack of access to healthcare for infra- infrastructure, and for water quality. There are the five physical environment factors: is water, air, water, climate, soil, natural vegetation, and landforms are all environmental factors. The environmental factors affect everyday living and play a key role in bringing health difference across the geographic areas. As we grow up, we are exposed to environmental influence that shift to your physical self, including those from your social network, social expectation, and cultural practices. Family is being our first social group. Form a crucial foundation of your development, including that of your physical self. As as you grow older, you get exposed to a larger social group with new practices and standards. As a result, you may begin engaging in acts that will make you attractive and acceptable to others. This is the example of can influence to your physical self, social network or media. For social network or media, when people lock online and see their in, excluded from activity, it can affect thought and feelings and can affect the physical self. 2019 British study tied social media use to decrease disrupted and delayed sleep, which is associated with depression, memory loss, and poor academic performance. Social media and mobile devices may lead to psychological and physical issues such as eye strains and contribute and difficulty focusing on important tasks. They may also contribute to more serious health conditions such as depression. The overuse of technology may have a more significant impact on developing children and teenagers.
Hello everyone, my name is Mark Angel Biola Siman and I will report the unpacking the physical self. What is physical self? Physical self is the concrete dimension of the tangible aspect of the person that can be directly observed and examined. All of us have their own unique physical appearance or physical characteristics. Different hair colors, skin tones, body figures, height, weight, and etc. All of us experience physical changes, especially when our body starts to mature. This process is called puberty. Adolescence is divided into three periods. First is early adolescence, from 11 to 14 years old. Second, middle adolescence, from 15 to 17 years old. Next, the last part is late adolescence, from 18 to 21 years old. So, what is adolescence? Adolescence is the period between the start of puberty and the beginning of adulthood, while the puberty refers to the physical changes. Adolescence refers to the transition between childhood to adulthood. With these changes happening, some teens feels like it's out of their control. This can affect their body image and self-esteem. So, what is body image? This is how you picture yourself in your mind. Or, a body image is based on your thoughts and feelings about the way your body looks. So next is, what is self-esteem? A person's overall sense of the self-worth, or it relates to how much you like yourself and how you recognize or appreciate your individual character, qualities, skills, and accomplishments. There's a lot of factors that can affect your perception of your physical self. First is personal factors. Second is the social factors. The third is culture factors. So what is personal factors? Personal factors refer to the personal characteristics that influence a buyer's decision and include age and stage in their life cycle, occupation and economic circumstances, personality and self-concept, and lifestyle and values. So what is social factors? Social factors are things that affect someone's lifestyle. This could include wealth, religion, buying habits, education level, family size, and structure and population density. Next is culture. Culture are material culture, language, aesthetic, education, religion, attitudes, and values and social organization. So, a person's view of their physical selves can be affected by how they view their self-worth, what the society says about them, and the way that the culture they grow up shape them to be. For example, here in the Philippines, the people's concept of beauty also affects a person's view of their physical selves. One needs to have a beautiful self, tall nose, petite figure, fair skin. There's needs to be called beautiful. So how to build our self-esteem regardless of our physical looks? Appreciate your own beauty. Second is know the true meaning of beauty. Second is know your worth. Third is take care of yourself. Then last is be confident of yourself. So no matter what the standard of beauty is or what the other people say, you should always be proud of what you look like, because everyone has their own unique beauty. You should always have a positive body image and healthy self-esteem. And that's all for my report. Thank you.
Also, self-concept is what you believe or defines you as a person, and it answers the question of who am I. Then in psychology, many theories on self-concept exist, but most of them parallel the nation that self-concept is a critical component of identity development. So self-concept involves everything about you, from your moral stance, or is a critical component of also the what I mean is the identify development. So that as I said, that self-concept is behavior to your reactional talents and political beliefs. So according to research published in the latest research published in 2020 is that discusses the self-concept theory proposed by William D. Brooks and Philip Emmert in 1976. Your self-concept may be primarily positive or negative. And, there have example in positive self-concept. So we have we can do we believe you can and can make a difference, feel on par with others, receive compliments without shame, understand everyone has certain feelings or behaviors that may not be fully socially acceptable, have a willingness and readiness to work on yourself to resolve unhelpful behaviors. So for example, for this is is when you have a problem and you can you can find the solution because it's yourself. So you do, or you know what to do on how to solve this problem like that. So and also we can relate this to now on when you have when you have when you have when you hurt some feelings, like you know how to how to how to recover the or how to move on how to how to process the heart to become yeah, that's then also you can uh, the main idea of that is in who you are, or that's a self-concept, or, and of being a unique person. That's a self-concept. Thank you, sir.